attendance. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022, at a regularly scheduled DDA meeting. I'd like to take a moment to introduce public officials with us in attendance. To my right, Assistant City Manager Scott Schrader, DPW Superintendent Dan Ladd, Acting Chief of Police Heather Kolke, and also I'd like to take a moment to introduce and recognize our newest DDA board member, Mr. Matt McDonald. Noting that our chairman is out this month, I'd like to welcome and toss it over to Jerry Millen, who will be chairing today's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Jaquays. This is my first meeting, so I would just call the meeting to order, and approval of the minutes would be the first. We have a quorum, correct?
Let me double check and
Okay.
take roll. Ackley, Allen, Blair, Easter, Lublin,
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Thank you. Michigan,
Here.
Millen,
Here.
McDonald, Smith, Amin.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, it would be appropriate to make a motion to excuse those board members who called in. That would be the mayor, and that would be the chairman, Blair. We have not heard from Mr. Easter or Mr. Smith, so you can
Would somebody like to make that
excuse them
motion?
all if you want. We need a motion to do that, to excuse them. Has
somebody like to
do
make
with
that motion?
Missing too many minutes. You need a motion if they do that.
I'll motion to excuse those who aren't here.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Noted. Pledge of
Recording in
Allegiance.
progress.
Okay. Are there any requests for agenda changes? Seeing none, we can move forward.
We want to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, that
Yes,
sounds
okay.
good.
Everybody please stand. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So, any requests for agenda changes?
No.
No requests, so with that, we just move on. We need to approve the minutes from the meeting from May 10th, 2022. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes,
Mr. Lublin?
last month's
We
meeting.
have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Motion passes. Any correspondence, Ms. Jaquays?
No, sir.
All right. Audience participation?
If there are any audience members who would like to participate, if you are attending electronically, please press star 9 to raise your hand and star 6 to unmute. Any members with us in attendance in person, you have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address. Chairman Millen, I don't see any public attendance with us today.
All right, thank you. We'll move on, and we will move on to unfinished business, do we have any unfinished business?
Not at this time.
All right, thank you. New business. First up is the proposed DDA Resolution 2022-01 MDOT Category B Grant Application Resurfacing of East Walled Lake Drive Business District, and you can find that on page 8 of your packet.
Sure. So presented before you this afternoon, we're looking for DDA's support to apply for a grant through the Michigan Department of Transportation for a resurfacing grant for East Walled Lake Drive. There is information provided in the proposed resolution for your information. We also have Assistant City Manager Scott Schrader here who can answer some of your financial questions or grant questions if you have any. But the grant application is through MDOT, and according to their website, they're looking to have the applications in by tomorrow with the announcements perhaps by mid-August. But this is for our resurfacing East Walled Lake Drive, which is a major thoroughfare for our downtown district.
Where would that start and end, just out of curiosity?
I can't reach that.
Let me,
Thank you.
it's a good question. So yes, it does affect, almost everybody here would like to see that whole stretch
Redone,
because
yeah.
you're You're on the stretch. If we got that redone, be nice. You're just on the other side of it, but still would affect your business. You're on west. Yeah. So our support here for Ms. Jakeway's application and Mr. Schrader's application with that support, with that vote, that's what we're going to need from you. We will be filing it timely to get that. Then we'll take it to the city council, get final approval and ratification of what we're trying to do. So Scott, why don't you give us details to Mr. Millen, the chairman?
Yeah, so it would be, the scope of the project would be proposed from Pontiac Trail all the way to 14. And it would consist of some milling, shoulder areas, abutments, things of that nature, and then laying down 2 inches of asphalt on that, and then restriping the street.
Would that be, if the grant was permitted, would it be next year they would think they would do that work, or is it?
Right, so it would be the spring, early
Next year.
summer of next year, yeah.
Well, they're doing Pontiac Trail there too, so it'd be perfect if we get them all
Well,
done.
it's a continuation not only of what we're trying to do, we're trying to coordinate all these things, but the DDA basically fronted the money with our gateway over in Decker and different places. So this would require assistance from the DDA as well. I think you need to give them some details on what match may be. But yes, that's a continuation. Ms. Jakeway's following up on, trying to get these projects started with DDA and then supported by the city council and the general fund if need be, or what other fund we can get the money from. But in this case, there are grant monies available, so we're going to make application. If we get that, that's beautiful. We got one more street. It's a major street for us. And it's coincidental that some of you folks use that every single day of your life. So you should be affected by that. So why don't we give them more details, specifics of the finances of it?
So we're looking right now at a project cost of approximately $325,000, and it requires a 50% match. So what we've proposed, as the manager said, a continuation of the emphasis that the DDA has placed upon that area and revitalizing it with, as you mentioned, Pontiac Trail, Mercer Beach, some work that's been done on Lincoln. It just all ties in together. And honestly, the application will be more attractive to MDOT given the cooperation of the DDA in this project, as well as all of the other projects that have gone on either during or prior to this project that is being proposed. So we're trying to put forth the most attractive grant application that we possibly can. So of the $325,000, $162,000 and change is the match, and what we've proposed in this resolution is that the city and the DDA share that cost. So the cost to the DDA, the request is $81,250.
Just a quick question. So when we do get those kind of grants and the city matches it, is that something that the city bids out, or does Oakland County Road Commission do that also?
So this project would be the responsibility of the city itself, so we would be the one that would be bidding it out. So we wouldn't have to rely on the state to do that for us, or Oakland County for that matter. It would be purely a city grant.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
So you have the money and fund balance. It's, as I said at the previous meetings, the fund balance for DDA is a little bit less than $300,000. We spent a whole lot of that. By the end of the year, we expect that balance to improve, but you do have the funds to contribute all of it if you wanted to do that. We will take this, assuming you vote yes, we will take the same kind of request as City Council and to ratify that and pick up part of that match.
All right, so take it to a vote. Any other questions? Anybody have any other questions?
Lublin would like to make the resolution in support of the City of Walled Lake's grant application for the resurfacing of East Walled Lake Drive through the MDOT Transportation Economic Development Fund Category B program, proposed DDA Resolution 2022-01.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I just had a quick question. When were the bids put out, and what's happening with the, inflation with asphalt and everything? Is 300,000 realistic, or is it going to be, and what will happen? If the DDA approves 80, that's all they're paying, I'm assuming, or could it go up to 120?
So that's a very good question that, frankly, there's no answer to at this particular moment in time. It's very difficult to project what asphalt prices are going to be in the spring. I have put in a contingency in this project for that, I'm going to say eventuality, depending on what oil prices do. But, so there is some additional funds that have been set aside for an inflationary factor, if you would. I don't expect that this project will exceed $325,000 when we bid it out we would actually bid it out in the winter, so that the contractors have the ability to plan their work during the year and hopefully get better bid prices than if we were to go out right before the project.
So what would happen with the DDA's I mean, if they're saying 80, are they saying they're paying half of whatever could it go?
So right now, it's this resolution would commit $81,250.
The question is sound. What I heard was, what are the possibilities of that being, and that's a sound question, because that's what we're running into right now with inflation, what's going on. So we don't know that. Here's the worst case scenario, is that we get the grant, but if the grant doesn't pick it up, if it's not enough, then you decide whether you're going to accept the grant and not do it, or you pick up the funds from the general fund or other funds.
city would make up.
Well, I can't speak for the vote of council, but that's what we've been doing in the past. The city, we've matched up everything. We've fixed a few roads since I've been here in the last few years. The DDA picked up some costs for sidewalks in our gateway areas and Decker Road. So we're going to pave that. That's, we believe, is a big deal. At least Ms. Jakeway does. As managing director, she's chasing that. Downtown, we believe that's a main thoroughfare. It certainly is a gateway as much as Decker is. People come through Novi all the way over. They drive a little slower, but so getting that done is important. But the costs, that's one good question, and we expect it to go up. I don't believe things are going to go down anytime soon. I maybe never, but yeah, it could go up, and we'll have to match it or decide not to do it when we thought we were going to do it. But we want to go after the grant. There won't be any discussion if we don't get the grants.
Absolutely, for sure.
So,
Right, and as the manager said, if in fact it exceeds $325,000 when we finally bid it out, we would end up having to come back to the DDA and or the city council to determine whether or not we would accept those bids and pick up the difference or not. And certainly we could always ask the MDOT for additional funds. That has not always proven to be very successful, but it's not without trying.
the bottom line is we need support to get the grant. If we get the grant, it still doesn't mean we do it. The city council ultimately either approves or rejects bids. So if it's too much and they reject it, then that delays a project. We may not get it done anytime soon. But we believe, the managing director and I'm the executive director, we believe that that's a critical area to deal with for our economic base, bringing people in. We believe it's a gateway just as much as Decker, just as much as Pontiac. So if we can get that done, then we've come a long way in the last few years in terms of paving our gateway. We've got a lot of streets that need to be done, but those are main ones, and they truly are a gateway. So we need your vote on this to take it forward, and then if that comes up, we'll be back here. You'll be sitting in this conversation all over again, but we'll bring it back. So.
Okay, roll call.
Question.
Go ahead.
1 second before roll call. When will we know if we've received the grant? Will we know in a month?
August, right?
So probably by the end of August.
Okay.
If we don't receive a grant, we're still going to be talking about how to get that paved. It's still a road that we believe is important, and as many other roads are too, but it is our gateway, so that's my argument why that road needs to be done. People drive through it. If it looks as bad as Decker Road did, it's going to affect downtown. It's going to affect the whole city. Decker Road, by the way, we're going to give you reports on all of that. Some good news for all of you people who've traveled it in the past. So I'll let that conversation end and let's get a vote. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ms. Shakely.
Ackley, Allen, Blair, Easter, Lublin,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Michigan,
Yes.
Millen,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Smith, Amen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion passed.
Yes, thank you for your support.
Motion passes. We will move on to the Decker Road project update.
We're going to start with Ms. Jakeway a little bit. Before she goes, I'll tell you that we've traveled the roads out there, she and I, continuously since these projects started. Last Friday, they were looking a little bit slow. We weren't sure they actually got started. We thought it was going to be till Monday. That would have been yesterday. But they were working Friday, and we ran into the project manager for Cadillac, and Ms. Jakeway requested that she make some extra effort and get that second lane paved. She responded, yes. They paved the second lane of Decker, and we checked. I was checking at 11 o'clock at night. I got an email from my superintendent, public works superintendent. They didn't stop paving till about 11 at night. I think Mr. Councilmember Lublin can confirm that too. They were late in the evening, but she committed to us. She committed to Ms. Jakeway to keep it done. She pulled in extra vehicles that night, loads of asphalt, and they paved it. Even as we speak, they're finishing up the two driveways. What do you call those?
Two approaches.
Two approaches for the last of the asphalt, which means all the cement's done, all the asphalt's done, and what begins now. Dan, why don't you jump into that and tell us about the landscaping?
Okay, so they've just got a couple of little approaches to finish, and once those are done, they're going to, Michigan Highway Restoration is going to come in and restore all the landscaping on the outside of the road, along the curbs. It should only be in there for about 3 or 4 days and get it done. And then after that's done, they'll clean the road because they tend to get a little dirt on the road. So they'll clean it up as best they can, and then they'll come in and stripe the road. And then they take the barrels away, and project's
So
done.
Decker will be completed as far as what our part was. What you're going to hear from the residents, and you're going to see yourself, is 14 Mile is still under construction. It's the longest construction project I've seen since I've been in Michigan. I don't know who planned it or what went wrong, but it's stunningly slow. They're doing a lot of work still. Looks like they're doing a whole lot of work even in Wall Lake area, because from 5 down, that's Commerce, but it gets into Wall Lake when it gets over by the lake, and they're pouring cement roadways there. Underground stuff's incredible. They were blocking in the village there. Lake Village couldn't get out, and some of the contractors, they were talking about closing them in and giving, well, nobody can leave or go in for an hour. I had to send the police chief, and I think the deputy chief went over. They went over and said, no, that's not satisfactory. You will have it open. But they're actually going to close it down. The residents have been very angry, as they should be, based on the way that went. But our solution was just to get Decker done, because we had complaints from both sides. We had complaints from the contractors. Well, that was the deal that Ms. Jakeway made. They were contractors complaining that the residents were driving, speeding, and almost running over their workers. And Ms. Jakeway agreed to get the police down in numbers if she would bring in 3 more loads of asphalt. So that's the deal we cut, and they stayed till late. It was kind of amusing to watch that, but she did deliver, and we believe Decker's about done, but we can't tell you when they're going to finish up 14. Most people, or many people, think it's the same project. It's not. If it was the same project, Mr. Ladd would have had them both done at the same time. And so I appreciate his work, Ms. Jakeway's work on Decker. I hope to give a final report to the City Council next week that all is done, and we'll talk about the other projects too. So that's Decker. I think we covered everything from the police issues, but they're behind us now. Again, Bennett Lublin lives over there, so he had to exit that way, but I think he found an alternate way to avoid the dust and the stuff. But Bennett, did you ever try to get out and couldn't?
I was always able, when they were doing the paving, they did block off both the entrances. I just went to the other sub behind me to the west and exited that way. So, but it was just for a short period. So, I mean, very happy.
Anyway,
great,
that would,
drives great.
this was a DDA project as well. They put money towards as well as the city. So that's why we're giving you a report here, but we'll give a final report. Hopefully the landscaping is completed, so we'll give a final report at the next week on that, more up to date, and maybe any more information we get it. So that covers that. You got anything to add there, Ms. Jakeway?
I'd just like to thank DDA support for getting Decker Road done and contributing the funds to get it complete. It's definitely made a improvement entering Walled Lake, so I'm happy.
Well, you did the sidewalks over there too. You funded those, so the DDA really improved our gateway there. So the road's done with the DDA support, and of course the city council always does support. They do. I mean, they couldn't move forward at all if the city council didn't do it. But the DDA jumped in, declared it a gateway, put the sidewalks in. If you remember how really bad they were way out of. I mean, they were asphalt that had been poured years ago, and it's not even walkable anymore. Certainly not ADA approved. But now we have sidewalks in brand new road. Because the DDA stepped up. And the leadership under Councilman Ambrose, the Mayor Pro Tem, he was our chairman, and he led that fight to get the roads done and have DDA take the lead on a lot of these projects. So we're proud of that. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Next update on the Mercer Beach improvements on Phase 1.
Sure.
We're all done with it?
So Phase 1 is still being completed as we speak, but we're looking to wrap that project up very shortly, as early as potentially this week. I'd like to direct Superintendent Dan Ladd to give a little bit more information on some of the status of Mercer Beach, but we are looking to open the beach up for our summer festival, which we'll discuss a little bit further down in our agenda, but that project is, we're working on it.
So I met with Gibraltar Construction, they're the contractor doing the project, and they're going to be paving. They contracted with ASI to pave it on Friday. So hopefully the parking lots will be in on Friday, then early next week we get the striping done for all the parking down there. This week I've been instructed to go ahead and clean up everything, to take the fence out and get everything ready for the summer festival. Get the beach as open as possible and safe so it will be able to be used before we start Phase 2.
I have a question. So at the beach, it's covered in seaweed, there's dead fish trapped, and the seaweed's out of control. Are they going to do any kind of mechanical control or clean up all that seaweed and dead fish before the festival?
Absolutely, the beach will be spotless before this festival. It's
Okay.
been closed, we haven't been able to get our equipment in there to clean it up right now because of the new concrete that was poured. You can't drive over it because you'll break it or damage it. So once it's set and the asphalt's in, we'll be able to enter the beach with the equipment, clean it all up. We might even bring in a couple of gravel trains full of sand, redo all the sand on the beach, and it'll be looking nice.
Okay.
If you, speaking of the beach, at this meeting and council meetings, when we first started doing some work, people were talking about putting up signs because of construction to keep people from going. And of course, I'm skeptical of all of that because, after being in this business for a while, you get a little cynical about people paying attention. And we put up signs every like 10 feet. And then you would go down on the weekend with the spikes sticking up, poured concrete, the aggregates this big, they're walking on the people. There were hundreds of people on the beach every week, Saturday, Sunday, in the middle of the construction, taking their children in it, And so the signs didn't mean anything. Again, our solution was to get it done. That's the only way, because you can't, send the police down. That was some response. Send the police to clear the beach. That falls to me to make that call. I'm not sending the police down to arrest people for being on the beach, That's just a no-winner, They ignore the signs, but arresting people from being on the beach is not a solution either. I mean, it's bad enough. So where do you get a prosecution for that? So you saw a bunch of people on the beach who just ignored the signs and took their children in the middle of a construction site so they could say they took them to the beach. That's how important it was. So we were frustrated with that, but we lived through it, and hopefully by this weekend, the beach will be in a little better shape, so if they do go, it won't matter. So,
Awesome. No, it looks great down there, Dan. Good job. I see it. I see people down there, but it looks good. I'm excited because it
looks great.
it does look good. So, all right, any other questions about the Mercer Beach project? Anybody? All right, we'll move on to the Pontiac Trail resurfacing project.
Sure. So as you all know, presented a little bit earlier this year, this Pontiac Trail resurfacing project is made part due to the tri-party program through Oakland County. The city's contributing cost was $108,000 out of a $700,000 estimated project. At this time, we do not have a start date, but we are monitoring that and getting, once we do have information on the start date of Pontiac Trail, we'll be sure to report that to the DDA. At this time, we haven't have a complete start date, but as you drive throughout the city, you will notice that Oakland County is preparing Pontiac Trail for the resurfacing. They've done a couple of, I'll have Mr. Superintendent Dan Ladd report on some of the work.
Okay, so first thing they did, Oakland County came in and they adjusted all the manholes and rebuilt the ones that were falling apart, like right across from your parking lot. So they do that first. Then they come in and all the really broken up areas, they saw cut it and then excavate that material out. Because when they do an overlay project like this, the cracks and everything that are existing in the road, after time, those cracks will refract through the new asphalt. So the less damaged material that's under it, the better off and the longer the road will last. So that's why they're digging out those areas that you see them digging out and repaving. So once they're done with all that, then I'm not sure if the bid lettings went out yet and who got the bid. We're hoping that Cadillac Asphalt got it, because if Cadillac Asphalt got it, they just did Decker Road for us. So they're going to work with us and start at Maple and go towards Wixom. That's the goal. So, and then I'm going to coordinate with Oakland County, make sure that they don't start the weekend of the festival.
Let me clarify, the start date that we're referring to is for the overlay. They've started working some weeks ago with the manholes and the underground work. So that's already been started, and they may be near finished, and they may indeed be finished. The start date that Ms. Jakeway is referring to is the overlay itself, which we expect them to come in and start, we hope, at Maple and move towards Wixom. If they start in Wixom and come this way, it's going to take us a little longer to fill it, but we'd like to see them start in Maple, and if Mr. Ladd's as good as I think he is, he'll get them to start at Maple and then get out of town pretty quickly, come by your place and get it over with. So.
When they, Dan, when they mill that up, because Pontiac Trail, where it's Walled Lake Drive, it literally, Pontiac Trail is like this, like there's like hills. Will they be able to mill that, will they just mill that down flat and then just resurface it?
No, I don't think they'll mill out in the center of the road. They just mill the edges of the curbs 2 inches down.
Right.
But then when they go across with the paver, they'll set it at the highest point of the asphalt, they'll put 2 inches on top of that. So if it's 4 inches in the lowest point, so it should be a pretty level
Yeah, 'cause it's
surface.
literally
Yeah. And then they try to reestablish the crown in the road.
Right.
So the water goes from the center off to both sides.
Awesome. Can't wait for that one. Any questions on Pontiac Trail? Anybody? No? All right, we will move on to the Riley Park Playground Equipment Upgrade presentation.
Sure. So presented last evening at the Parks and Recreation Commission, Deputy City Clerk Miranda Gross prepared a presentation showing the improvements that happen in our downtown park, Riley Park. So let me just pull that up. Give me one moment. Let me screen share here. Okay, so here are just a few photos showing the old benches that were at Riley Park. And as you can see, the equipment was falling into disrepair. And then here is just a close-up of the rubber mat that was installed. And the little story about the rubber mat. So city manager and I, we like to tour and visit some of the projects that we have going throughout the city. And on one of our little tours that we do, we were actually able to meet some of the family members that were visiting Riley Park and have a discussion with them to get their feedback on their thoughts of the playscape improvements. And one of the comments and feedback that we heard from this family that was attending was that they really liked the rubber mat that was installed in comparison to the wood chips that were there previously. Supposedly at other playgrounds, the wood chips are not very safe, but also during heavy rains, it creates puddles within the playground area. So the rubber matting has definitely been an improvement.
This meeting we had was, it wasn't just one family, it was several mothers and grandmothers with the smaller children, and which was an indicator that they've discovered it. And so they were there. There were several mothers with their children, and they were all over that, and they're from a preschool. Later on, during one of the art festival over by the trail that Atrium and Casey's had, I ran into a couple of mothers that had been there, and they were going down. So that's catching on very quickly. Again, DDA participated. The city approved it, and Rec was part of the Recreation Commission was part of it. So this is already taken hold in terms of the family's usage in Wall Lake. It's already taken hold. One person is interesting. One of the people I talked to, one mother, was from West Bloomfield. She was looking for places to West Bloomfield. So it's okay. You know, you're allowed to come over. We're glad you came from West Bloomfield to use our park. So. Anything else?
I'd like to just thank DPW Superintendent Dan Ladd and his crew for helping us prepare Riley Park for the installation, but also completing I believe the sidewalk has been complete down there as early as, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, yesterday afternoon, we had to remove a section of the sidewalk to get in there to get the material, get the old equipment out. There was a sidewalk, there was a big ramp, and then there was a ramp going up to one of the play structures. So we took out that sidewalk, so it's a nice level sidewalk now all the way across. We got that poured yesterday. Tomorrow we'll go down topsoil and seed around it, and everything else, all the topsoil seed and straw has been put down. It's all growing in really nice. It's ready to go. It's done.
This is a project that we get to council meeting Tuesday, we'll be able to report that it's completed too. Again, DDA participated from the beginning, Recreation Commission participated, City Council was on it. So that's one more project that we're getting done this summer, so.
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Ladd, for all your work on all the projects that we've been throwing at you. So thank you. No, everything looks good, man. It looks really good. So thank you so much. Update on the farmers market.
Sure, I can take that. So as you all know, Walled Lake has a farmers market hosted every Wednesday at the Public Safety Campus from 7 to 1. The market is going on its 6th week, and the turnout has been really good. I'm super thankful to be able to have the market again. I also like to have a shout out and thank you to our newest management intern who has been assisting me this season with social media, administering the farmers market, collecting payments, engaging with the vendors, but also being a presence on site throughout the entire day at the market. Miss Kaylee Hall has been incredibly helpful with running the market, so I have to do a shout out to her. I'm super grateful for her help. And with her assistance, we're looking to plan kind of like a summer bash next Wednesday, June 22nd. One of the vendors is like a barbecue fanatic, so I'm planning on bringing him out to share some of his barbecue with the market goers. But we're also going to be bringing in some live entertainment from 11 to 1. We're inviting a local musician to come out and play some music during the market. Mr. Richard, he has performed at Milford as well, so we're looking to bring in some local entertainment, but also kind of kick off summer as June 21st is the official start of summer. So definitely come by, check us out. We're slowly getting produce in. We have mixed cabbage, strawberries are in season now, rutabaga, lettuce, But yeah, definitely come check us out. We're averaging anywhere between 10 to 15 vendors, weather dependent.
Can you get the information for the event next week? Because we have a pretty good social media following in our business, and we have quite a few people we can get that out to. Because I think, obviously, the more people that know about it, the better. So if you can get us that information,
Yes.
we'll get it out and try to help get some more people out there for you.
Thank you, Chairman.
No problem. Any questions about the farmer's market? Everybody good? All right. Memorial Day Parade After Action Report.
I'll start it off. I would like to thank all the people that put it together, and that begins with DPW, Police Department, and my staff. But most of all, I'd like to thank Miranda Gross, who fills in as our de facto recreation director. She put together the organizing plan for staging the area, and it came off really well. It turns out that the change in route worked well for us. For the first time in 12 years, I actually rode in the parade at the beginning. I saw people 3-4 deep that I'd never seen that before. There was a lot of people out. I think it had to do with people wanting to be out. We're back after a couple of years. We appreciate all the support from the people who supported us. The bands, I think the Wall Lake School District helped out. We had Northern Band, we had Central Band, we had Western Band, and of course all their families come. The parking lot for the public safety campus was full. We were full here. All along the way you were full. Every parking lot was full. So it worked out pretty good. Do we have any information on, we have a really good promotional video for the parade that we'd like to.
I think for folks who weren't able to attend.
There may be an objection, but I'm going to risk a copyright violation and ask you to play our video of a parade.
I'd like to thank DDA Chairman Millen for providing this footage of our Memorial Day Parade. It definitely captures, I think, how amazing this turnout was, but also the importance of Memorial Day.
Well, I feel one thing. Marielle Lou, our own Marielle Lou, who's a resident of Wall Lake, was our Grand Marshal, and she made sure we got coverage on Fox 2 all during the night. You could probably add some more to that, everybody that knows about it, but it was on Fox 2 several different times
yeah, 'cause
tonight.
they rerun stories, so they were
Yeah.
live in the morning,
Yeah.
and then at night they'll take like a 30-second clip and say Marielle Lou was in Walled Lake.
She
Parade today.
talked us up, and we got it great. Let's see this video. Imagine that.
Gary from the Greenhouse of Walled Lake, and today actually we are at the 2022 Walled Lake Memorial Day Parade. Haven't had a parade in Walled Lake for 2 years. I will be emceeing a little bit today. We got my good friend, former Detroit Red Wing, Darren McCarty in the house.
What's up, Jay?
He's in the parade. A good friend, Marielle Lou from Fox 2. She is the Grand Marshal.
Yes, looking
And of course we have
forward
Hampton, Marielle's dog.
Superstar.
Let's check out the parade.
The Bronco was provided by our council.
Obviously, we're here to honor all of our servicemen and women that have fallen, that are serving for us now. But what does Memorial Day mean to you guys?
Well, I think that you nailed it right there. It's community. And I think being out here in Walled Lake, it's one of the greatest communities, obviously, with your involvement. But this is what it's all about, I think. People
Parade.
coming together, compassion, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
So.
And Al is our Grand Marshal.
Yeah. Listen, I am so excited, and I feel the same way. This is so good to see the unity and to see how many people are coming together, especially after the last 2 years that we had. Even though the meaning of this day is more somber, I think people are still taking the spirit of that and pushing that into a positive place. Doesn't it feel like that out here?
People are excited.
Oh my gosh, there are so many people lined up
I know,
outside.
it's crazy out there. I want to thank you, Marielle, for coming and doing this.
No problem.
And I want to thank Darren McCarty. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Mr. Millen.
That guy at the Benning, man, he was...
I would also point out, for those who weren't able to go, Mr. Millen acted as an MC to introduce council and Marielle Lou and staff members, police department at the ceremony, introducing the mayor who gave her Memorial Day speech to honor the fallen. So we thank you for that, Mr. Millen.
I think we can make that parade bigger and bigger every year,
That's our intent.
you know. The
That's
more,
right.
like, that's why if we involve media like Marielle and like that, they will get coverage on it. And I think, no, it was awesome. That parade was one of the best ones I've been to in Walled Lake. So we'll have to top it next year. All right. Any questions? Anything else we need to know about the parade? Now everything's good? Nope.
It was a great event. My family doesn't march in it, but they enjoyed watching it. They said it was really good. It really was. There was a great spirit. It was wonderful.
Awesome. All right, we'll move on to the Atrium of Walled Lake. They had their music and art festival, I believe, last weekend it was?
Yes.
Date on that?
Yep, so the Atrium of Walled Lake held a music and art festival this past weekend. It looked like they had some pretty good turnout with a couple of tents, some outdoor seating, and some food. So I'm hoping that it was a good event for them, and hopefully it brought some people in to Walled Lake, but also they were able to utilize the Walled Lake Trail and bring people in through that.
I can confirm they did, because I visited several times, and they parked, some of the people parked over, all in the lot, but they parked over where would be the trail, where the depot used to be, so there's a little parking lot there. And some of those mothers who were visiting there, then that's the ones I was talking about who went to the park. So they were looking for a day out, and I think they picked that up from social media and came there and enjoyed themselves and then went over to the park. So it's the beginning. I think that's the first time I tried the people in the atrium try, and I think they partnered up with the neighboring business as well, Casey's of Wall Lake as well. So it was a beginning, and there was some turnout there. So we supported them. The police department was able to provide some police presence for their event, and so we supported them during that weekend.
Yeah, kudos to them, because, you know, putting on a live event when you're trying to run a business is not an easy task. So hopefully they'll continue to do it, because we need more things like that, yeah. All right, we'll move on to the Summer Festival coming up here in a couple of weeks, 2022. Ms. Jaquez?
Yes, so the city intends on having a summer festival this year, scheduled for next Saturday, June 25th, 2022. The summer festival will be in partnership with some of the businesses in our downtown district. The greenhouse, I believe, will be having a couple events throughout the day. I'll toss it over to you after I go over a couple of events that the city is doing. But the Walled Lake Civic Fund will be sponsoring the firework event that happens right around dusk, around 10 o'clock. So that is scheduled to happen next Saturday. But from the city's planning perspective, coming out of post-COVID, but also with the construction that's been happening down at Mercer Beach, this event may not be as elaborate as it has been in past years because of the construction happening downtown and us having to be mindful from a planning perspective of what we're able to actually host down there. But we do intend to open the beach, as Superintendent Dan Ladd stated. We'll be removing the fencing, but having it be usable for folks to come down and enjoy the entertainment that's going to be going on all day. We are planning on perhaps having a bounce house, maybe getting a petting zoo in, dependent on if they have availability. But just in response to the construction that's been happening at Mercer Beach, we still plan on closing the streets down. It just may not be as big as it has been in past events. But I do believe the greenhouse is having a kickoff summer event. So, Mr. Chairman, if you wanted to touch base on that.
Okay,
or
yeah,
share.
so, you know, we run a promotion at the store called Summer Cannabis, and we always try to do a big party. So on June 25th, I'll be out there like 7 a.m. Channel 2 will be out. They just finally confirmed today 100%, as long as there's no breaking news. Channel 2 is going to come out and do 5 live hits like they did in past, which is great for us in the city, because we get about 30 minutes in a 2-hour newscast highlighting all the stuff we have going on in Walled Lake. So I think it's great for the city to showcase what we have going on. So we'll highlight some things. I'll invite a council member out. We'll maybe Banks House. We have some celebrities coming out. We'll have from 9 to noon we'll have a pet rescue, and we'll have about 6 pet rescues out there. We're going to donate $3,000 total to them. And last year, I believe, when we did it, they rescued all the dogs and cats. Had some cats too, I believe. They were all adopted, which is great. So we'll have 6 of those from 9 to noon, and then at noon we'll have Calvin Johnson, Hall of Fame NFL Detroit Lion. Calvin will be out from noon to 1 with Rob Sims, and also a former Detroit Lion. And then from 1 to 2 we'll have Braylon Edwards, former University of Michigan football star, and I believe he played with the Jets and one other team in the NFL, so another local celebrity. We're working on a couple more people, maybe some surprises if we can pull it off in time. And then from 2 to 5, we'll have a car show, and we'll donate some money for vets returning home for the car show, because we're going to have 3 car shows this summer. And then after 5 o'clock, it's just going to kind of breathe for a little bit, and then the Walled Lake Civic Fun and Greenhouse Tiki Bar and, you know, Murray's, and everybody's chipped in to keep the fireworks going, so we'll have the fireworks at dusk. So it should be a great day. Last year, we'll have a tent, you know, we'll have a couple of food trucks out there, a coffee donut truck hopefully, and last year I think we had a couple thousand people show up, and honestly, this year could be busier, because I think last year people were still a little afraid to come out, and, you know, with Calvin being there, you know, he's a big draw. I think that we will have, and with Fox 2 being there all morning promoting it, I think we could have a big draw that day.
We're proceeding on the idea that there will be a big draw. It's just going to be a different kind of event. And
Right.
in years past, the beach party concept is not applicable here, even though the beach is going to be there. I think we're going to shut it down as we did in the past, very similar, so that nobody goes in and squats and tries to save the space all day long so they can watch the fireworks. So we're going to shut everything down and monitor that so that we can insert some folks who want to participate, whether they got activities coming. But we're going to open the beach, and if you're downtown, you saw that our Public Works superintendent's been down there with his team cleaning it up even as we speak. Some of the stuff was pretty rough because of construction, so he got a lot of work done. The gully next to your house is fixed, you know, that gully that was there, we got that fixed today, and I think Dan himself did that. But we're cleaning it up, mowing grass, cleaning stuff that we haven't done for years, and we're hoping that you're right, that people spend some time. I believe some of the local businesses will benefit a great deal, so we believe we're supporting those businesses by doing what we're doing. The car show is going to bring people in. We believe there's going to be traffic issues, but that's what we...
And those are classic cars. I want people, we don't, you know, I don't bring out the hot rods like the new cars. It's a much more controlled atmosphere with the classic cars.
We will,
so.
the police, that's why the acting chief is here. She's going to make sure that we have, if she lets the chief come back, I don't know. She's acting chief of police. Our chief is out of town on his little vacation, but she's here, and she's been in charge of it operationally, so we'll have a police presence down there to deal with that kind of thing, not only for the people, but we expect that there will be a crowd. It'll be a different look, though. It won't be as much as we've had in the past. We're going to see who's available and fill some spots, but we will have food trucks. We've had a few vendors come in today looking to secure their spots from similar to the past, and I believe that at least the Tiki Bar, they have a license for outdoor serving. Chief, can you help us out on that a little bit? What's Tiki Bar got going for the?
They're going to have a band from 5 to 6. The school.
Yeah, come on up. Don't be shy. You're the acting chief of police. You're not allowed to be shy.
They're going to have an acting band. Actually, it's called the Rock of Ages, coming from 5 to 6. I believe it's like a kids rock group. And then they're going to be having the, what is it, the play?
Oh,
they
play?
Yes. They're going to have them from until about 6 o'clock, 6 or 7, actually up just until the fireworks start. And then after that, they're going to pause and then pick back up till about 11 o'clock after the fireworks. So, but yep, they're going to have it all.
In years past, we had a band shell. We brought in our own bands, and interestingly, the history of that is they would actually compete, and we would have to get involved, and one band was trying to be louder than the other one. It was kind of silly. There was no coordination. They just wouldn't. There was a competition. But we're not bringing in a band this year. That's not what's happening. We're opening it up, so for the fireworks, essentially we're accommodating. We simply are accommodating the Civics Fund. We're really pleased that they've got their program going. We appreciate your support from your business, Mr. Millen, supporting the Civic Fund, but we have a whole list of people on the banners, and I believe the banners go up tomorrow. They go up tomorrow, or did they go up today?
They went up today.
They went up today. So, and where are the advertisement banners? They're at Pontiac Trail?
There's one at Decker and Maple, and there's one at Pontiac Trail and West Road.
Okay, the bright new banners are up, and if you look at those banners, take a quick look at them, you'll see of all the, Murray's is supporting it, Casey's of Wall Lake is on there. Toughies, just a whole lot of folks supported it. You're the biggest supporter, Mr. Miller, and I appreciate that. And so we're going to support you from the city and support the Civic Fund. We believe that they're doing a good service for the city. So, thank you. That's all I've got on that. You got anything to add about the beach? I think we're good, right?
Yeah, no, I think we're good. We'll get all, everything cleaned up, the fence out of there, so the contractor can get in there right after they pave and backfill the backside of the curb, get it leveled off, and then get some topsoil, some seed and straw, and hopefully get some grass growing along the backside, and like I said, get a couple new fresh loads of sand, and smooth out and clean up the seaweed and all the dead fish and everything else, and it should look good.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. Should be a good day for the city. Any questions about the 25th? Anybody? All right.
Council member? Board
Councilmember
member
Lublin?
You got us?
Excuse me?
Any more questions?
No.
We're about done. Yeah.
All right.
in good shape.
And, all right.
The warrant, we need the warrant.
Looking forward to it. Warrant report?
I need you to move to receive and file the warrant.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to make a motion to move and receive the warrant.
That's Bennett's job.
Seconded?
He did.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All right. We're done with that. Move on.
No, all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, I think that's it.
That's it.
I
Sorry
will-
to take
I
so
will-
much time, but we wanted to
you
get
all.
some of this stuff out to the public and to you. And at the next meeting, we'll provide, the chairman will be here. You won't be able to be chairman anymore,
Oh, I was just getting good. I was just getting the hang of it, too.
We're going to start, it'll be kind of boring at the next meeting. We'll again revisit the law, the DDA law, revisit the DDA bylaws and the ordinances and stuff like that for all of the new folks and for the old folks who want a refresher.
All right, I'd make a motion for adjournment.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you next month or the 25th. Come on out and join us. Thank you.